What is going on, everybody? Welcome here to the Purple and Gold podcast. Today, we get some very interesting news coming out of Minnesota in regards to Sam Darnold. Okay, Diana Rossini, an NFL insider for The Athletic, has put out a rumor that the Minnesota Vikings are interested in bringing Sam Darnold back. Now, from the sound of it, it does appear to be a short-term deal that the Vikings are looking to get with Sam Darnold, meaning a year, which puts the franchise tag in the realm of possibility. And the reason for it is because of the J.J. McCarthy injury. Had McCarthy not gotten hurt, I think, in all likelihood, J.J. McCarthy would be the starting quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings in 2025. However, look at the lighting. Amazing. Natural light, guys. Because of the injury, I think the Vikings are looking to get J.J. McCarthy a real rookie year, per se, because from my understanding, just watching the games, McCarthy is not present on the sidelines. He's not really taking in all of that game day information, and he's not hearing the play calls throughout the games. I haven't seen him. I mean, watching previous games, even of other teams, like if you have a rookie quarterback sitting on the bench, regardless of how the starting quarterback is playing, they highlight the guy on the sideline, but they never do it because J.J. McCarthy's not there. And so I think that this is an interesting situation, one that is very unprecedented and one that the Vikings need to be prepared for. And I think if the move is to bring Sam Darnold back, depending on how the rest of this year goes, because at this stage, right, and even starting from last week's game against Seattle, which we'll get to in a second, I mean, these are all playoff games, right? The Seattle game, this Green Bay game this week, the Detroit game afterwards, and then you're literally in the playoffs. Like, these are all playoff games, and, good start. Darnold played very well in Seattle in a hostile environment, and so, obviously we hope he continues that production, but, the biggest thing for me, at any time anyone has asked me, hey, do you think the Vikings are going to bring Sam Darnold back? I always said, well, it depends on how he plays in the playoffs. Because, again, you're paying a guy serious amounts of money when free agency hits. And you do have a very talented, in my opinion, talented quarterback waiting to get his moment to be the franchise quarterback in J.J. McCarthy. How Sam Darnold plays in the playoffs does matter. Because, again, the way that this team is structured, and taking a look at the draft capital that we have this year in 2025, this team is going to be heavily reliant on bringing in another bomb free agent class like they did this past offseason, which they have the money for. But again, like in terms of addressing needs through the draft, it's going to be more difficult considering we have like 3 picks and one of them in the first 2 days, right? So I think it is simple enough to say, hey, Sam Darnold, good player, works well in the offense, is highly productive, bring him back. But the money is always the thing that's in question when you're regarding the conversation of should you bring back a quarterback or not. Because, again, it's tough to build a team around your quarterback if you don't have the money and you're allocating a lot of that cap space to the quarterback. Is Sam Darnold worthy of a long-term contract with the Vikings? No, because if you were to do that, why did you draft J.J. McCarthy? But at the same time, could you bring him back on a short-term deal like a franchise tag? I think that would make a ton of sense. And of course, you're hoping that J.J. McCarthy goes through the entire 2025 season, regardless if he plays or not, fully healthy, because, again, that is part of his development. And it's unfortunate for the Vikings that the injury happened the way that it did and it lasted as long as it did, with complications in the middle apparently as well, and nothing too serious from the sounds of it. But again, we don't know how public they're making everything, right? You don't want to be too transparent as an organization. But again, so I think we'll conclude this topic with, is this the right move to do? And in my opinion, I think this is one where we still have to wait. But let's say the season ended today and we are in the middle of the offseason, I would bring back Sam Darnold at this point in time as we're recording on December 28th, 2024. Oh my goodness. That was my alarm to wake up. Jesus, I've been up for a while now. Um, anyway, so I would bring him back on a 1 year deal, right? And again, JJ McCarthy's got to have a fully healthy 2025, and we can let him be the quarterback after that. So he can have a legit rookie year to soak in some things, hear play calls on the sideline. Look, I think the guy is ultra talented. I think he's ready. And regardless of what the Minnesota Vikings choose to do, whether it's roll with Sam Darnold in 2025 for another year or roll with JJ McCarthy in 2025 as well, I'd be fine with either option. I feel like both guys are more than capable of winning serious games and being the quarterback of the future. And the only way that I would be disappointed in all of this conversation is if Sam Darnold gets a multiple year deal. Because, again, you draft a quarterback in the first round. He's got to be playing sometime soon. And, this isn't like a Green Bay Packers situation, okay? It is Green Bay Packers week. All right. I'd hate to compare to that team, but, the reason why they were able to do it with Favre to Rodgers and then Rodgers to Love is because the two guys, right, with Brett Favre, Hall of Fame quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, future Hall of Fame quarterback. We don't have that here. That's just the truth. And so it just wouldn't make as much sense to kind of replicate that when we don't have that piece in front that is so important to the development. So, again, short-term deal for Sam Darnold or just roll JJ McCarthy in 2025. I'm fine with either. But yeah, I guess there's truth to all rumors. So we'll see how this thing unfolds. And in terms of last week's game against the Seattle Seahawks, I wasn't able to make a video because I was at work. I was watching the game, going back and forth between my job and and the game. And I got home late, just wasn't able to make a video. But my reaction to that game, very briefly, look, you got to win games however you can. And I thought that it was a very quality win. Our defense obviously didn't play up to par. I think we could have played a whole lot better. Our cornerbacks really got exposed by a really good wide receiver group. But our offense, man, look, defense wins championships, right? And we do have a championship contending defense, okay? But offense also wins you games. And we've seen it time and time again that the offense has been the reason why we've won games this year. And so for those two cliches to be in our favor this year, how can you not be excited as a Minnesota Vikings fan? The amount of highlight videos, like hype videos of Kevin O'Connell and just throughout the whole season, people downing us at the beginning of the season with the predictions and, doing this for Kyrie Jackson. So, I am just stoked every day of the week seeing Minnesota Vikings content because what they've accomplished this season, and by no means is this team satisfied. They've reiterated that time and time again, that they don't feel like they've accomplished anything because they understand what the real goal in mind is here. But how can you not be excited? This has been a fun season, and I'm not saying I'm satisfied either. We all want the same thing as Vikings fans. But yeah, last week's game was phenomenal. Sam Darnold put on another stellar performance. Justin Jefferson, again, proving why he's the number one receiver in the league. Still putting up crazy numbers like that against one of the better secondaries in the league. And is still keeping pace with Jamar Chase, who doesn't get as many double and triple teams as Justin Jefferson does. And that's just the honest truth. So that's that. Again, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Should the Vikings bring back Sam Darnold? Should we roll with JJ McCarthy in 2025? Is a long-term deal sustainable for the success of this team? These are all questions that Kwesi, O'Connell, they all have to ask themselves before they put pen to paper with Sam Darnold. So, thank you guys for watching this video. If you guys love the Minnesota Vikings as much as I do, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We love the natural lighting. And until then, I'll see you guys all later. Peace.